I think we're on.
Was it that quick? Woo.
It's saying up there, yeah.
Oh wow, that was quick. All right. Yeah, we're live. It's actually. Hey guys, how you doing? This is the Front Door Show, and if you're just tuning in, there's gonna be. What I'm gonna do is start sharing it real quick. So let me go ahead and start setting this up to share it and to do what you know. Um, let's see. I told you I got two computers, so I'm doing that. I'm creating a watch party on mine. Let's see how many people are gonna start logging on. So I give people kind of a chance to start logging on and stuff like that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what basically. So we have that. Yeah, lower this volume. There we go. Start inviting some people. All right, if you're tuning in, this is the Front Door Show, as I do every day at 8 o'clock. And today we have Gino, Rockin, Romo. And as I tell every DJ that I interview, guys, Frank Sierra, Rick Ricardo, White Knight, hey, what's going on? He's on as well. A couple of guys are, basically logging on. Gino, why don't you introduce yourself and tell people who you are?
I think you just introduced me. All right. So yeah, my name is Gino. My real name is, a lot of people know this already. My real name is Genaro, which is my dad's name. My dad, he's up in heaven. It's been 2 years. But so I'm actually a junior. And when I was like in second grade, people started calling me Gene, Gene. And it wasn't until I started DJing, people started calling me Gino. And so it's funny because people that have known me for a long time, this is a secret, call me Gene, Gene. But people that know me through DJing, they'll call me Gino. So when I run into someone, if they call me Gene, I have a real bad memory. But if they call me Gene, I'm like, oh, I know you from a long time ago. You know me.
Just like when people call me Angelo, or they call me Prieto. If you call me Angelo, you knew me from way before. But if you know me Prieto, you knew me from the Latin side of it. So that's kind of the same thing,
So I just gave away a secret. So now if people start calling me Gene, they're going to confuse me. Now I'm going to think, I think I must know you from a long time ago. But that's, see, there you go, a secret right off the bat, just like that.
All right. So here's the other secret. I don't think people knew about this. We discovered this, or I discovered it 2 years ago. We're related.
Yes. That's why you're very handsome and very funny. Right.
And nice teeth.
Nice teeth, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
I had a conversation with you about 2 years ago because I did the whole ancestry DNA. And I predominantly did it actually because of the Prieto name, my father's name. And I went ahead and did the whole thing. And one of the rare things I guess I was looking at is I go, hey, I see there's Romo on my side of the family, which is my great grandmother's side of the family. And I was just like, wow, we got Romo. And then one of the guys who I hung around with, A's and Malos, his name was Ciso. So I happened to see his. I'll say, oh my God, he's on the Century DNA as well. And condolences to Ciso's family because his father just passed away actually a couple of days ago.
Too bad.
And Ciso, but I used to hang out with Ciso and his brother Danny when I was at Malos. This is going back when I was 17 years old, 18 years old, and obviously these guys were older than me.
Mm-hmm.
But my cousin Joanna Montes was the one that says, yeah, Ciso and you guys used to hang out. So hence there was the Romo connection. And then when me and you talked, you had mentioned there was a famous relative.
Yeah.
That Bernardo Romo, I guess he's a patron saint of immigrants.
It's Toribio. Okay. Well, I don't know who you're talking about, but it's Toribio. He's a saint.
Right. Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute, I got that guy on my tree. And that's how I knew that. I said, wait a minute. So we're like fifth cousins, I think, or something like that. That's where
which means literally, that if I ask you for money, I don't have to give it back. You know that, right?
Yeah. So that's no. You owe me half of it because I'm half your cousin. The other half, you got it.
I said it first, and so we have to go with what I said first.
So,
Keep that in mind.
all right. So what age or how did you start in this industry? Give us that story.
So, keep in mind that I'm actually retired right now, as crazy as it's been. But let me go back to the beginning. I actually learned how to DJ when I was 14 years old at the Little Village Boys and Girls Club. I used to go there every day. My sister, Christina, my brother, Caesar, and Alex, we would go there every single day. And Val Rodriguez, I have to mention his name because I owe it all to him. Val Rodriguez would teach classes there. He used to work at the Boys Club. I mean, he was a teenager, and he was a DJ. He was a part of a 3-man DJ group, and we used to do arts and crafts and football and with football and all this. But anyway, so he decided to have a DJ class, and about 15 youngsters, all my age, 14 years old, we all signed up, and we had one set of turntables, and he taught us a soft beat and a heartbeat, soft beat, heartbeat. And it was everybody had to take their turn to do this. And the next day, like half of the guys didn't show up anymore because it was just a slow process. They went somewhere else to play flag football up in the gym. So anyways, it dwindled down to maybe it was, I think, 3 of us, three guys were there. My son sneaking up in the background. I just told him, don't come downstairs because he's coming with a balloon and he's gonna release it. Yeah, so just letting you know. Yeah. Okay, I guess mom did not hear it. I need you to go upstairs.
I was just blowing it.
Yeah, but look at what I'm doing. Anyways, that's live right here. So anyways, it dwindled down. Then next year there was like 3 of us that were there, and Val, our instructor, he would still get gigs. And he didn't really want to do them anymore. So he invited us. He says, look, you know what? I got this quinceañera to do, or a wedding. I want you guys to come and DJ. And so we would go, and I knew one mix. I didn't even know how to beat match. I didn't know. I was still pretty much learning. And I had a stack of records, and I had my notes with +4, +3, +5. And we would actually pick a number out of a hat because, back then in the quinceañeras, and it was customary to have a live band. So the DJs would just play 30 minutes or so. And so the 3 of us, we would have to actually pick a number out of a hat. And there were a lot of times where I didn't get a chance to play. But so anyways, that's how I started. So I got to play at a couple of family events and things like that. And it was just something that I was just learning how to do, at the Boys Club. That went on for just a few months. And then all of a sudden something happened that just changed my life completely.
What was that?
And I was a big fan. I mean, I grew up in Little Village, and anybody who grew up in Little Village, you listen to WCYC every Friday night. I mean, everybody put these DJs up on a pedestal because, it was from the neighborhood, and we just listened all the time. And so the radio station was on the 2nd floor of the Boys Club where we used to be. And all of a sudden, 2 guys dropped out. I don't want to mention their names, but maybe I can, I don't know. But 2 guys dropped out. So they were looking for 2 DJs. Magic Juan, who was just like everybody's idol at the time, he approached Val, our instructor, and he says, hey, I know you have a group of kids that you're teaching how to DJ. Can you have them send a recorded cassette, a mix? We're auditioning. We're looking for a new member. And he said, yeah, I'm going to send you these guys. And I recorded the one mix that I knew how to do barely. I didn't know how to mix. I just had it memorized. And so I recorded it on a cassette. I gave it to Val. Val gave it to Magic Juan. That was it. I had no idea what happened, what was going to happen at all. It was summertime. I remember we went to Mexico every year. We drove to Mexico, my whole family, my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sister. And so I was gone for most of the summer. Came back home. I was a baseball player. I was playing at Petrowski Park, and it was a Friday night. I just finished the game. I was on my bicycle, and I'm at a red light, just riding my bike back home. And all of a sudden, this car drives by with, they're cruising. So they had the music full blast, and I heard a blend. And then I thought, wow, that blend sounds really familiar. And then the light turned green, car takes off, and another car comes behind it, and I'm pedaling. And then I heard the next blend, and I thought, that's really familiar. I had just, and then I heard Magic Juan on the radio really loud. And he says, this is exactly what he said. You're listening to Gino Romero. They didn't say Romo, they said Romero. You're listening to Gino Romero, the newest member of the Jack Master 5 and Company. That was the name of the DJ crew at the time, Jack Master 5. Okay. So I almost had a heart attack. I was 15 years old. I pedaled. I went home. I called Val and I said, hey, I just heard my name. They're playing my mix. They said I'm the newest member. Can you tell me, what does this mean? And he called Magic Juan right away. Magic Juan was at the studio. He says, yeah, tell him that we need him to turn in another mix next week. And then the following week and the following week. So I was panicking because the one mix that I knew, semi-knew how to do was the one that I submitted like a month and a half before or 2 months before. And I didn't even have DJ equipment at the time. Actually, no, I did. I already had DJ equipment. And that's how it started. I had to turn in another mix the following week and then the following week. And I was literally learning on the fly. Literally on the fly, I learned. It was crazy.
That is crazy. So what year was this that you said this happened? This was you said when you're 15 years old?
This was 1988 was when it happened.
All right.
Yeah, 1988. Yeah. And then, now I'm officially part of the crew from this WCYC crew, which was to me and everybody that I knew, it was the thing that you did on a Friday night. It was, some of these guys had celebrity status. I remember Pablo Puncal Gonzalez. I couldn't believe, when I met Pablo and when I met Romo and Magic Juan, I couldn't believe that these are the guys that I would listen to on the radio all the time. And it was just amazing. So this happened in the summer. And then in the fall, WCYC had a party at Highlanders, Polish Highlanders, which is right across the street from Curie High School. And, they always had parties all the time. And everybody that I knew was going to this event. And because since I was part of the radio station, I was one of the DJs. So here I am, didn't know really how to mix, didn't know how to really DJ. And all of a sudden, I'm going to this event where everybody that I knew was going to be going there. And that was my first big event in front of I don't know, maybe 500-600 people in there, maybe more. It was packed. But that was my first event that I played. Again, did not really know how to DJ, was still just kind of learning. And it was, I got another funny story that happened there, if you don't mind. I want to share that with you.
Go ahead.
So, so I go there and there's a guy behind the turntables and he has a stack of records. I mean, like, can you see like, here we go. Like a stack of records, like maybe 2 feet high. And I asked him, I said, whose records are those? They should put those away. And he's like, no, I'm about to mix in a little bit. And I said, well, what's your name? He's like, well, my name is Tony Boom Boom Badea. And my idol, Tony Boom Boom Badea, was my idol by far. He's the DJ I wanted to be like, because I would listen to him on CYC and he was just amazing. The way I thought that he was editing. No, he was a speed mixer.
Right.
And he was
that's
good.
So
yep. So we became really good friends. We talked a lot backstage. And then all of a sudden they announced my name. They mispronounced it again. They couldn't get Romo right. I'm shaking. I'm nervous. I put the needle on the record and I'm getting ready to mix in my next record. And I look into the crowd and it's packed. It's packed. And all of a sudden, somebody important is coming in because the crowd starts to split. And I see a guy walking, a tall guy, and then may have been bouncers, around him. And they're escorting him to the stage. And as soon as he gets to the stage, the guy in the microphone just yells out, "Bad Boy Bill is in the house." And I'm about to blend my first record ever in front of a crowd. I mix my record. Then the guy comes up to me, taps me on the shoulder, and he says, "All right, bro, you're done. Bad Boy Bill is here. He's going on now." So I mixed one song, took my headphones off, and I said, I have no problem. I've got no problem. Let him go next. I'll sit this one out. And that was it. That was I was relieved. I was thinking, wow, oh my God, I dodged the bullet because I was so scared and so nervous to DJ in front of so many people. But I'll never forget that story. And it was just it was an amazing time. Yep.
All right, so that was okay. So that would be that 16 years old, right? That's I'm
Yeah,
seeing.
I was about 15 and stuff. I think yeah, I was already 16. Yeah,
Right.
when that happened. Yeah.
So then, what was the process after that? When did you what happened to you next to become? Were you doing quinceaneras? Were you doing bobos? Were you doing what were you?
Somehow, before that, somehow I convinced my parents to buy me my turntables, and they were $1,200 to buy a set of turntables. I convinced them. I told them that, hey, I'm going to make this money back. I'm gonna have to start doing parties, and that's what I did. I started doing quinceañeras and baptisms and weddings, and I was doing that. And then every single weekend, I was recording a new mix for the radio station. And I have to tell you, I didn't expect, that wasn't my plan. My plan was, I knew what I wanted to do in life. I just wanted to do really, really good in school. That was my goal. I wanted to be something in the medical field. I wasn't too sure which way I was going to go. I was already leaning more towards dentistry. I wasn't sure I was going to do medicine or dentistry, but it was my main focus was always, school. And so the DJing stuff was happening. It was kind of getting in the way of my school, to be honest. And it was a little bit, but I loved it. I learned it. I loved it. And because I wasn't any good, I felt like I had to practice constantly.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Isaac, you need to go upstairs. I don't know who that is.
He's your hype man. He's your hype man.
Yeah. I think he's ready for his interview.
So,
Yeah.
so when did you? Were you also because I'm guessing, did you also do the mixtape thing? Was that something you got into, or was what?
So that's funny because a lot of DJs had there were a lot of mixtapes coming out. There was a lot of DJs doing them, and I thought to myself, somebody asked me, they're like, you should do a mixtape. And I said, you know what? I don't know if it'll sell, but if it's gonna sell, I got to do it a little different. So then what I did was I had a 4-track recorder, and the 4-track recorder allowed me to do a 45-minute mix. So there weren't, as far as I knew, there weren't any mixes out there, mixtapes that were 60 minutes, that were 90 minutes long. Right. They were all like 60 minutes long. So anyways, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. I recorded a mix. I did one side, then I did the other side. And I went to look into how much is this going to cost me to do. And for 200 tapes and the artwork, I had a friend of mine, Chaps, who drew the logo in a red, black, and blue. And he named it, I said, I'm just going to name it Gino. That's it. I don't know of any other DJ out there that's named Gino. I don't want to put Gino, Rockin, Romo on there. It's going to look too crowded. I just want one word so that when I put it in the display case at the stores, I want it to stick out. Very few DJs were doing J cards, the artwork. It was just a simple cassette inside a clear box. And so I said, I want something totally different. I want it to stand out. Let's just put Gino, because I don't think they're going to get confused when you say Gino. I didn't know any other DJ. So it cost me extra money to do it. Well, when it was all said and done, I went to my bank and I had $900 that I had scraped. That's all I had in my bank account. I took all the $900 out to buy 200 and something cassettes. And then I couldn't sleep for like 3 nights because I thought to myself, I'm officially broke. I was like 17 or 18 years old. I have no more money in my account. I don't know how this is going to work. So I remember I took some to Hot Jams and I said, hey, I was very shy. I said, hey, Andre, I made this new mix. I don't know if it's going to sell, but can I leave some for you? He's like, yeah, give me 50. And I said, all right, 50, you serious? You want that many? and I dropped off 50 cassettes. And I went home and I thought, oh my God, I don't know how this is going to go. I hope I make some kind of money because I am completely broke now. And I called him about 5 days later and I said, hey, I'm just wondering, how's it going? Have you sold any? He says, I'm sold out. I've sold every single one. I mean, it was like 4 or 5 days. He said, I need you to bring me some more. Bring me some more cassette. I was floored. I could not believe it. I went, I took another 50, then another 50, then I was ordering by the hundreds. And then other people were coming to me and asking, I want to sell them in my shop. And so I was very careful where I sold because there were so many people that just didn't pay. And it's one of those things, a reality. I would go to some shops, and I'm not going to name the shops. I would go to a shop and I would say, okay, here's 50. Let's see how it goes. And then a week later, they would call me and they would say, okay, we sold all your 50. Bring us another 50. So when I will go drop off the 50, I said, well, you got to pay me for the 50 I dropped off, because they wouldn't pay you until they sold them. So they would say, well, we sold 50, but we're going to give you money for 20. Give us another 50. So then they were always behind and behind and behind. And, years into it, I was looking at I used to walk around with a little invoice book, and I would go to the pages and I say, you haven't paid me. You're like 300 cassettes behind. When are you getting? So I completely stopped selling them. A lot of people would ask me, why did you stop selling? Nobody has them anymore. And then I would tell them, well, it's just kind of a complicated story, but X amount of years later, I'm able to say that's the reason why I stopped selling them, because till this day, I found an invoice book about 10 years ago, and I showed it to my wife and I said, look how much money these people still owe me that they never paid me. Yeah. And unfortunately, that was kind of like the nature of the business, when it comes to trying to make yourself net worth, for what you're worth to get paid for. Right. But that's the reason why I stopped. So I just stopped doing it. I said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to focus on school. If I get hired to do a party, I'll do a party here and there. But for me to be running around and dropping cassettes off or CDs and then, they're not paying me when they're supposed to be paying, it was a waste of time for me, to do that. So I just stopped selling them. I just stopped completely.
Right. I remember the Gino J card. I remember that. It was in like graffiti art, if I remember mistaken. Almost looked
kind of like that. Yep. Yeah, I have one copy somewhere around. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I remember that. I remember because I would see sometimes at Hot Jams. Yeah, mm-hmm. I believe there were. I think Hot Jams. I think that was one of the few places that you kept selling. There wasn't a lot of places, so I know there was a lot of people.
Yeah, Hot Jams, I have to say, it was probably one of the most responsible ones.
Right.
It was a legitimate business, and he's probably one of the most responsible when it came to that. And he was my top seller. And what I loved about it was that very few shops in the city had it, so they had to go to Hot Jams. So we ended up having like a very mutual, exclusive relationship, because he knew that I wasn't, I was getting pulled to sell other places, but I was so much involved with school that I didn't have the time to kind of, be chasing the money there.
Gino was your tape 1, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Then you had a tape 2 and a tape 3, right?
Yeah. So my second one, I thought, you know what? I'm going to call it Rockin.
Right.
So my idea was that when the display case is to line them up, Gino, and then put the Rockin right next to it. Right. And then the third one, you guessed it, it was Romo. So then we had them lined up.
That's
Gino,
what I said.
Rockin, Romo.
I remember that display, Gino, Rockin, Romo. I remember that.
Nobody else had that. I was pretty proud of that. And then when I finished Gino, Rockin, Romo, I thought, okay, now what do I do? Junior or what? So I did Gino with the number 2. That's what I did. And then I stopped. Right there, I stopped. At the time, I was already, I was in college. I was already in dental school, I believe, or about to get into dental school. I had no time to be doing this, and just left it like that. And it wasn't till 1999. Everybody was talking about the year 2000. There was so much talk about it. the world was going to end, the computers were all going to die out. You remember all that. And I decided, okay, I'm going to make one more, and I labeled it Gino 2000. And
Okay.
yeah, I sold. Thank you for everybody who bought those cassettes and those CDs. I appreciate it because it did help me get through school. So thank you very much.
You
Yeah, so
you
that-
and no, and that's why I think it's you and DJ Eclipse are the two guys who went into the medical field per se, as basically you guys both attribute that your music business or your tape business or your DJ business took you through school. And
yeah,
I know Eclipse is the same thing. You know,
Uh-huh.
he went into the anthropology. You know, he has his own clinic as well. So he talks about that. He goes, yeah, basically the music business, and that's good. I mean, you know, I guess that's a good message, I guess, for anybody, especially there's kids now that want to DJ. You know, if they do as a hobby, make money, but get a career. You know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know, I'm telling you, this was not supposed to happen. I did it. I did it for fun. I did it, you know, when I originally, like I said, the beginning, when I originally started DJing, I didn't know how to DJ when I was on a radio station. I'll be the first to admit that. I learned. You know, as I started playing more and more events, more and more on the radio station. Sometimes I would listen to my mixes at home, and I thought, oh my God, this is the part where I'm gonna mess up, and I would cringe because, and I thought, well, you know, so okay, so I didn't kill anybody, you know, but I'll be the first to admit that I was learning, literally learning on the fly, you know. That's what
Okay.
happened. So
Oh,
none of this was supposed to happen. My plan was become a dentist, and the DJ was gonna disappear, you know, a long time ago. But here we are, 2020, and it's made a huge resurgence, unexpectedly.
right. And so, okay, so here you are. I'm guessing you're about 22, 23 when this is all going on, right? Your mixtape and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Uh, and you're in school already. You're in dental school already, right? You're already in school. You're still DJing, but are you DJing at the clubs? Or are you DJing? What are you doing as far as the DJ aspect there, the industry?
So
There,
say that a question again. Kind
it
of
says
fade out.
during the time you were going to dental school, are you still DJing in clubs? Are you doing guest spots here and there? Or are you just like,
I was still at the radio station for I think the first and second year of dental school. I don't remember.
okay,
And you know, my studies in dental school is really picked up. I mean, there's a big difference between, anybody will tell you, there's a big difference between high school and college. I went to the University of Illinois at Chicago, UIC. So there's a very big difference on the workload. You know this
yeah,
from
yeah.
high school to college. Well, then when you go from college to dental school, it's like quadrupled the amount of reading, the amount of work that you have to do. And so at that time, I didn't have the time to go chase these dollars, you know, from the people that owed me from the cassettes that I had done. And that's when I say, you know what, I'm gonna have to stop. I can't be doing this. So I would just do spots. People would call me and say, hey, we're gonna have a party. Can you do it? So for me, it was an outlet. It was something to get my mind off of having to study so much. And it was funny because when I was in dental school, a lot of my classmates, I mean, we became real tight. There was only 69 students in my class. And so we got to know each other very well. And a lot of my classmates would say, hey, you know, oh, I was the youngest in the class as well. So everybody was like 5, 6 years older than me. I got into dental school like a few years early for, you know, I really worked my butt off to get in. But anyways, a lot of my classmates would always ask me, they're like, you know, what do you do? Because every time we see you, you're at the library or you're in the laboratory and you're up late, you're at the school early, you know, you got to have something else because you're just way too involved with school. They would say that. And I would say to myself, if you were to hang out with me on the weekend, you would understand how different my life is on the weekend. And I remember on the weekends, some of my DJ buddies that I would see every weekend, they would ask me like, hey, what else do you do? Because every time we see you, you're DJing on the weekend. And I say, oh my God, it's two different lives completely. During the week, I'm at the library, I'm at school, just studying my butt off, just reading all the time. And then Friday nights, I would go to the radio station, I would turn in my tape, I would do it faster and turn it in. Then I would do the show. And then after the show, I would leave, go to a nightclub, go play. I was playing at different locations. I was never a resident DJ. I didn't want to get committed to any of that. And then Saturday, I would be at the library all day. Then Saturday nights, I would do my quinceañeras or my weddings. And then Sunday afternoon, by 1 o'clock after church, I would be back at the library. And that was my life. All 4 years of dental school.
Well,
that's the way it was.
I want to make sure I clarify this, because in case people don't know, when you say you worked at WCYC, were you on air personality? Were you the guy who was the DJ? That was, what was your responsibility at CYC?
So first of all, we were all volunteers. Nobody got paid. So when I first started there as a teenager, I was just a hot mixer. That's what they call us. We were hot mixers. I was a hot mix show. As I started getting a little bit more comfortable there, and I started to take some on-air classes with Harv Roman, and then I started hosting the show. I was hosting it with Miguel De Leon, Magic Juan, Speedy G, Rick Guerrero, Pablo Punkout, Adam Rock. We all played a little part in it. And at one time I was actually the music director for some time. And then I was actually the hot mix director at the radio station. So I was in charge of the DJs. So my job for a few years was to make sure that everybody turned in their mix on time, which was not as popular as we were. It was very difficult to do a mix every single week. So we had quite a few DJs that were our regular DJs that just wouldn't come through. They were busy. They were busy doing other things. So my job was to make sure that if we had an empty slot, I had to fill that slot. So I was always looking. I was always scouting, you could say, scouting other DJs to try to get them to get on. Like I think Marshall John explained it the other day. Yep, exactly. So he was one of them that I recruited on there. Yeah. So that was my job that I did there. I was on the air. I hosted the hot mix show, and then I was also the hot mix director.
Well, from talking to you guys and talking, I guess, and I got to say shouts out to Harv Roman, because he was a catalyst to a lot of DJs out there, basically with that CYC show. And I guess maybe it's a lot of people don't know. I mean, if you're not from the South Side, or if you know the music or the house music, Chicago house music, WCYC was a big factor in this industry. That's for a lot of DJs. And I'm talking to Sombra, talking to Mario, talking about you and a bunch of guys that I'm going to be interviewing. That CYC was a big part of everybody's lives in the house music per se. And not to say anything pro or against Latin DJs, but that was an outlet for a lot of Latin kids to get out of the gang aspect of it, because in the neighborhood there on 26th Street, we had that gang influence. And I think that's was the beauty about Harv Roman and the Boys Club. It gave people, a hobby or something to do. And I'm sure you living in the neighborhood, just like I grew up on 26th Street as well. I know we had
You're absolutely right. You know what? And the radio station, I mean, you think about it, there was no social media back then. We didn't have what we have now. And the impact that radio station made, worldwide. I mean, with the freestyle, especially, I'm a firm believer that freestyle would not be what it is today had it not been for Harv Roman, Magic Juan, and then all the DJs that were on there. I saw Gabriel Getan Garcia just tuned in, and he's another one too. He's very successful now in life. But with the gang issue, absolutely. I mean, I don't think that problem has ever disappeared in the neighborhood. What was funny was that I was on the radio station what seemed like forever, because some people thought that I was extremely old. And I mean, now I'm older. I'm older now, obviously, but back then, I always looked a lot younger than my age. And I was always like the younger looking kid. And when people would meet me, they couldn't put it together. They're like, we thought you were going to look older. Number one, there was two things they would always say. We thought you were going to look older, and we thought you were a gangbanger. so for some reason,
the graffiti on the tapes, maybe that was the aspect.
I don't know. I think a lot of people thought that I was somehow in some way related, involved with some kind of gang. And then once they would speak to me, they would think, gangbangers don't talk like you. You sound more educated, So I would get that a lot. And sometimes that was a big battle because I would have to tell people like, no, I'm not. That's the farthest thing from my mind. And once they would look at me physically, they're like, come on, this little guy right here, he can't hurt a fly. He's not. And so, but to this day, I have people that say, I always thought you were involved with some kind of gang. And nope, sorry to disappoint, but no.
I guess just as part of the neighborhood and stuff like that. But I mean, like I said, I think the CYC, Harv Roman, and perfect example. You being a music director and you scouting DJs helped. I gotta say that I can fathom and basically I look at this Harv Roman. It's the same instance like when I started the Floor Masters, the breakdancing group. I had 125 members in my group. And I remember to this day, I'm in contact with a lot of the people that, we all were that kind of group. And there was the boys club that we were at over on Wood Street and 21st.
Yep.
And it brought people. And I remember gangbangers or kids that were interested in gangs, they would walk into the boys club because they would be like, wow, we can actually dance and, we don't have to be on the street. And the same thing like the boys club over there. Oh, we can actually DJ. We don't have to be in the streets. Mm-hmm. I think and I hope there's a document or something that comes up that basically shows the importance of that boys club or the boys clubs, especially on the southwest side of Chicago, that basically points that out that, listen, you don't know how many lives, it changed.
I mean, we did have, J-Lo was, she's a big promoter of the Boys and Girls Club, and Denzel Washington, both them two, they promoted a lot the Boys and Girls Club. And I always, when people ask me about my history, I cannot have a conversation and not mention the Little Village Boys and Girls Club. There's no way I can mention. I mean, I owe so much, and not just myself, but so many other people that grew up in that neighborhood. And I hope that it's doing well. I haven't visited in a long time, but I hope that it's doing well. But that was something that definitely was needed in the neighborhood, and it's still going to be needed for sure.
Well, I mean, that's, Harv, if you're listening, maybe, get some ideas what we can do about the neighborhood and stuff like that, because, after all this COVID stuff, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of kids out there that wanting to do something as well, instead of being locked up in the house. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that, hearing about like Val, because I ran into Val a couple of times as well. I think he was doing photography as well or something like that. I remember he was I ran into him a couple of times. And and it's good to hear that you basically are getting paid forward from guys who are older, and then and just like anything else, if there's a young kid out there that's interested in DJing, I hope hey, listen to the older guys and how we can do this and stuff like that.
It's funny because I just thought about this. I do a lot of career days. I get invited, and I love doing career days. I get invited because I'm a dentist, and I love doing it. And I love talking to kids that when I look at them, they look a lot like me. They came from parents that are just like my parents, your parents. And I never mention that I'm a DJ. I just never do. I feel that, it's maybe this generational gap, there to them. Oh, this is an old man talking about his glory years. So I've never actually brought that up. I've had teachers ask me, wait a minute, your first name and last name, I've heard it before. And then they'll be the ones that they'll say. So I think that it's the cool factor will be gone if a kid sees that their teacher knows who I am. So I never bring that up with the DJing. So I get asked a lot more about, hey, what's it like being a dentist? How'd you do it? I get asked more of that. The DJing stuff it's always kind of like in my rear view mirror, unless somebody digs real deep and they bring it out. I'm like, oh yes, by the way, yes, I used to DJ, or I still do it a little bit here and there.
Well, Gino, you remember when I made my first mixtapes and CDs, right? And there were two girls. Her name was Tanya Maria. Maria Pagan. She's out there. They're on Facebook as well. They were my models, and they went to Northwestern. And one day they asked me to speak, career day type of thing, right? And I remember there was 4 people in front of me, someone from Commonwealth Edison, and it was more career day for Latinos. I think it was like a Latino thing that they did out there. And I remember Commonwealth Edison was there, AT&T was another one. I think there was maybe a dentist or a doctor or someone like that. And then me, I was number 4, right? And I remember everybody kind of talked, right? And I'm thinking, why did you ask me to go? I'm a DJ promoter. I made my mixtapes and CDs. And I remember I got up there and I says, yeah, my name is Angelo Prieto, I'm DJ Prieto. And I started talking about my career. Little did I know, I talked for a full hour about what happened with the mixtape, how what it is like that. It was funny. At the end, it was done, right? Yeah. Career day, right? Those 3 guys are sitting there. Nobody's walking up to them. Everybody in the whole, there's like about 60 people in this. They all coming to me and talking to me. Oh my God, what an inspiration and stuff like that. And I just was kind of surprised. I go, wow. And it was interesting because I guess for those kids and the people, especially that are going to get a career, we come from diversity. And I think that's the plus of talking about a career, because if I tell anybody, did I plan this out? No, it wasn't like, oh, you know what? I'm going to be a big time promoter. I'm going to be a big time DJ. And I don't think anybody, it happens,
Yeah, it happens.
And circumstances make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that I think for in the future, when you have a career day, maybe that's what you should talk about. It's like, listen.
Yeah, maybe my dental career should be in the rearview mirror just to spark their interest.
But you have to mention the fact that because of DJing, that's how I made my money to become a dentist. And this is what I did. And
And you know what? And I'll tell you something. I learned a lot from the business of DJing, because DJing it's a business and it's an artwork. It's everything rolled into one. There's so many different things, different angles to it. And I learned so much of business that has carried me through now, because as a dentist, you're a healthcare practitioner, but it's also a small business. And there were so many things that I learned, so many about building relationships and about how to talk to people and how to sell yourself, marketing, human resources, things that, I thought it was just going to be, I just got to learn how to do root canals. That's what I'm going to be doing, is just root canals and cosmetic dentistry. That's what I was thinking.
And cleaning.
And so many other things. But I learned so much from the DJing that has helped me. And I see the connection, on a daily basis. And I thought to myself, man, everything happens for a reason. And, here I am now, we're in this pandemic. I can't practice. I still go to work. I go to work. I have my staff and we rotate. We're still seeing dental emergencies. But now I'm actually home doing what I used to do such a long time ago, which is DJing. So this is a very weird time in everyone's life. But in my life, it's just been extremely, extremely strange with this live streaming. And now I'm more into like getting my music together. And dentistry right now is, because we're not able to do what we want to do, it's almost like the farthest thing from my mind right now. But I'm actually enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because I'm doing something that is making me feel like, back in the day, like we all like to say. So
yeah. Well, that in other words, the dentistry is the rear view mirror right now at this point.
For now, unfortunately, yeah, for now.
Yeah, for now.
But I can't tell you how impatient and how excited I am. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I want to do a root canal. I really do. So root canals. I love doing root canals, and soon enough it'll happen. Next thing you know, I'll be doing so many root canals that I'm gonna be saying, all right, maybe we need to take another break. But I'm enjoying it. I think we can't complain with everything that's going on right now. You kind of have to roll with the punches and make the best out of it. And and I'm not sure if you see my live stream, but I've live streamed 4 times already. Everybody's live streaming right now. I know you are. You've been doing it for a very long time. But this live streaming, because it's a sign of the times. again, years ago, we didn't have all this social media, but it's done so much for me in an instant, just boom, just like that. It's just exploded, which is great, I'm not complaining. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And it's keeping me from going crazy during this pandemic, during this crisis. So it's good. And I want to thank everybody out there who's tuned in to the live streams. Thank you so much. You have no idea how good that makes me feel when I see all the comments that people are writing, all the shares, all the likes, all the views. It's just unbelievable. But
well, I think it works both ways. It makes you feel good, but it makes them feel good as well. And I think that's the story of a DJ's life, is that we do what we do. Come on, let's be honest with you.
Mhm.
Are we making thousands and thousands of dollars DJing whatever we do? No, we do it for the joy. Yeah, okay. No, but the point that is that I know we enjoy seeing people being enjoyed, what they're doing and dancing, and especially they're having fun and they're doing all the stuff. That's our joy. That's the worst thing for us is the empty floor. That's we can be playing the best music, but if there's an empty floor, we're like, oh my God, it's depressing.
That's what it is like right now, because this is my basement. This is where I'm at, and those liquor bottles back there, those are my wife's. Those are not mine. So I should have put those away. I'm joking. She's gonna kill me when she sees me.
I showed them my liquor bottle. I told them, I said, look at my liquor bottle. There it is, right there.
So the strange thing when you're live streaming is that you don't know you're playing inside an empty basement. I mean, down here it was just my wife helping me out, and literally you're having this big party without having people in front of you. So it's a little strange. It is very, very strange. And the way I set up my camera, which is my phone, I can't read the comments. My wife is on the other side, and which I don't flip it around because everything looks backward. Which if you're gonna live stream, do not put it in selfie mode. It just
right, you gotta flip. I know.
Yeah, because then this looks reverse.
Right. That's why I have that. I did the same thing because
yes, it bothers me. It just bothers me. But anyway, so the drawback to that is that you can't see how many people are tuning in. I have to ask my wife, and the music is loud, and she's giving me signals like, hey, the first time I went on, she gave me like a 4. She said 4, and then like this, and I said, okay, we got 40 something. She says, no, you got 400 and something. I almost had a heart attack. I couldn't believe it. But you're playing to an empty room, but so you don't really get the reaction of the crowd when they cheer if you play a song. You don't see their hands up in the air. But it's just another. It's a very interesting and fun way, to kind of spend your Saturday night, which is pretty cool.
Right. So I mean, and here's another factor, and I hear you, because you know what. There's guys out there that are streaming, they're getting 100,000, 200,000, views and stuff like that. I see people that are getting, who've been doing it for a while. Me and you, we don't do this. We don't do live streaming on what you call it.
Yeah.
And it's like, so on a Saturday night, I see my Facebook on a Saturday night, boom, 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 everybody's live streaming. There's got to be 100 DJs, and this is worldwide. Yeah. This is not just Chicago, it's worldwide.
Yeah.
So I was like, and honestly, that's why, me and you didn't talk about this, but that's why I decided to do the show more so than the live streaming, because I said, you know what? I believe that a lot of people, they don't know your history. They don't know everything about you, your little secret that you had, Gene. So, I mean, but I think that's one of the things that's going to change. And because I'm doing this with you, and I think the other guys that I interview, and any future interview that I do with anybody, I think that people are going to look at you a little different now, in a sense of, I know him now. I know something about him. I know his background. Oh, I know why he's doing it now. So.
Well, the take home message is that I'm not a gangbanger. Okay. All right. I'm a father of four, happily married. I've got a career in dentistry. The DJing stuff is fun, but I am not involved in any gangs. Okay. I mean, I joke about it. I laugh about it now. But in case there's somebody out there wondering, no, no.
Oh my God. It's
But you
like,
know what? I applaud you. I applaud you on what you're doing with this thing. It's always really good to do something different. I love this. This is a great format. And it's a good. It's something good that people kind of get to do. When I've only, like I said, live streamed 4 times, and so I didn't do it every Saturday. And first of all, everybody's DJing on a Saturday night, so to me, I thought I'm going up against some big guns. I don't know how this is gonna go, but you know what? Got nothing to lose. Yeah, I don't have anything to do Saturday night. Why should I let everybody else do it? I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So that's the reason why I picked Saturday. And then I skip Saturdays. I didn't want to do it every Saturday. I didn't want to burn myself out. And the way that I play is I go through songs pretty quick, and so I ran out of music pretty quick. I just started doing digital last summer. I was still doing vinyl because I stopped doing it for so long. Didn't keep up with the music. I bought some the technology. I bought the CDJs. I have all the digital stuff, but I didn't have the music. My music library was zero. So when they would invite me to do festivals, and I was doing a lot of festivals, and I love doing stuff to raise money for churches and for schools. And they would call me and I would say, okay, I would love to do it. But here's the problem. I only do vinyl. That's it. And so they would, God bless them, these promoters, because they would tell me, at least these real good promoters, they would say to me, you know what, we really want you. We'll get a hold of some turntables, and we're going to make sure that they work, because a lot of times they don't work. And so I did these events with turntables, and because I sometimes I would say, well, they're going to say no. It's an easy way for me to escape, but no, they would go ahead and give me the turntables to do it. But anyways, finally I started getting my music digitized, and I started doing a little bit more, but I go through music pretty quick. And so this past Saturday, my wife actually challenged me, for anybody who did tune in this past Saturday, and she wanted me to do vinyl. She's like, go ahead and do vinyl. And that's what I did. I did 2 hours of vinyl. To make a long story short, then I had to go to digital, and I was on for 4 hours. It was a crazy night. I don't know how I ended up getting like that, but if you missed Saturday night show, you missed a good time. It was a real good time. And 4 hours, I was exhausted. The very next day, my wife and I, we were like, why does it feel like we went to a party and we were just in our basement? We didn't have any drinks, nothing.
4 hours. 4 hours is a long time. I don't care. Just it's a long time. I mean, and to do the music, and trust me, I've DJ'd for my parties before, starting at 9 o'clock and ending up to 3 o'clock in the morning. And lucky for me, I had a break, maybe a live band or something like that. That was my break per se. But it gets a little winded, because you're like, oh my God, I got.
That's why I'm not this Saturday. I'm taking the Saturday off. I have to look for some new music or do something. I don't know, but I'm taking this Saturday off. Maybe I'll be back the following Saturday. But yeah, 4 hours is a long time. But you know what? I had a great time. I really did have a great time. We had over 9,000 comments, and I read every single one, and people were just so grateful. There was so much gratitude in my heart, seriously, because everybody had so many nice comments to say, and I felt really good. And I do want to say something regarding comments, because I'm a big fan of DJs. I'm a big fan of people that live stream, people that want to express themselves. And unfortunately, there's so many bad comments out there, and that's got to stop. And you and I both know these bad comments, they're coming from other DJs, and that really does, it just really, really bothers me. If you don't like the way a DJ is playing, then don't even tune in. Don't tune in.
Correct.
Let him play, let him do his thing, but there's no need for you to go and say something negative, especially during this time, because I'm going to say that 99.99% of the people that tune in, it's people that just enjoy music. They don't really care, if the DJ is going to do good or bad. If they just don't like the style that they've got, they're going to tune out. It's, you change the channel on your TV, you change the station on your radio, you know, the dial on your radio station. But what really does bug me is the DJs that are really just so harsh on other DJs. You know, if you, and I always say, if you are going to say something, or if you think you could do better, then get in the arena, do it. You know, do your own live stream, you know, see if you can match what this other guy is doing. You know, they look at how many people have viewed it, and they always go for these top guys. I hate to say it, you know, but you know what? I'm going to be brutally honest. They'll go after these #1 DJs that are very, very good. They're very talented. There's a reason why they get thousands of people that tune into them. You ask the people that listen and they're like, oh my God, that DJ was amazing. He did so good, played good music. You ask a DJ, you know what? You don't even have to ask a DJ. The DJ will tell you that guy's no good. I don't even know why. And I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And, you know, this is one of the reasons why when I retired or got away from DJing, that had a big part of it, because I just didn't want to deal with that. I thought to myself,
you didn't want to deal with the haters, basically. That's what it.
Exactly. Did not want to deal with it. You know,
and I guess in every aspect, I don't mean just DJ, but if it's a promoter, if it's a musician, or whatever, there's haters in anything. And you know, and I understand that there's no room for haters.
A friend of mine told me, he says, you know why Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors? Because not everybody likes vanilla. That's the reason why they have more than 30 flavors at Baskin Robbins. So if you don't like what the DJ is playing, or you don't like his style, don't tune in. But you don't have to go and say something about it. And I've been reading a lot about this throughout the week. And, you know, and here I am gonna do vinyl. I was preparing my mix to do vinyl, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, all eyes on me. You know, that people are gonna probably be expecting for him to mess up, go off beat, you know, bump the needle, or have nobody watch him. And I thought to myself, I've got nothing to do. I don't do this for a living. Thank God. You know, I don't do this for a living. And I love it because I just, you know, 2 months ago, I wasn't doing anything of this, you know? So for me, it's a very big luxury for me to be able to come out and do this. And I haven't, and I have to be honest, thank goodness, I haven't seen anybody say anything bad about me. Thank you very much. But if you want to listen to my mix and listen to all the mistakes and all the errors, go for it. Is it going to bother me if you point them out? Absolutely not. You know why? Because I did it live and I really don't even care. You know, so I had a real good time. I had a good time. A lot of people that tuned in had a good time. And DJs just back off a little bit. Just have some fun. That's all I got to say with that. You know?
I have somebody who gave me a word of advice about that. And it was like, well, you know, here it was, pretty good, selling my mixtapes and CDs, and I was doing very well with it. And I would have the same kind of negative comments and stuff like that. And the owner of Tropicana, basically Boom Passamino, said to me, he goes, hey, let them talk. What you have to worry about is when they stop talking about you, good or bad. And I was like, oh, you're absolutely right about that. So listen, if they're talking bad about you, they're still talking about you. Yeah. It's when somebody says DJ Prieto, who's that? Oh, you know, Rockin Romo, who's that? Then we got to worry. so
and you know, and I just want to make it clear, because I haven't read anything bad about it. I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's out there. I haven't seen it. I'm being brutally honest, but I'm just talking for the industry itself.
Correct.
We as DJs, we need to check ourselves. We need to be better with this. We need to be more adult about it. You know, we are not, you know, third graders anymore, fourth graders. There's no reason to have to go down, you know, that dark pathway. You know, there's no reason for that. And so I just want to say it, because no one said anything bad about me that I can tell, but it's just something that I felt in this platform that I wanted to get off my chest and say, because all last week as I was tuning in, and then, you know, and all these threads with DJs involved, and they just have nothing good to say about certain people. And I just don't think that, you know, it's so easy when you could hide behind, you know, your cell phone, and, you know, but I've seen this, And here's the other thing that I want to say. I've been with big name DJs, you know, where I've gotten to know them. They're very, very cool people. And I've seen how some DJs will rush to them to take a selfie, and then they post it on their Facebook, and they're happy. They got thumbs up, the peace sign, they're doing all that. And then days before or days later, that same person is bashing that person, you know, but when they get an opportunity to take a picture with them, they're the first ones to go right up to them to take a picture, you know, and that's very hypocritical, and that's not the way it should be. But
No,
anyway,
I agree.
yeah.
That's you know, and there's always going to be bad seeds in any industry, and that's just the bad seeds. And we know who they are. You know, there's a lot of guys that we know who they are,
Mhm.
and you know, I think that personally, as one of the things that's happened because of as a promoter and getting DJs together, I've always been that guy that says, you know what, I want to surround myself with good people. And you
Mhm.
know, and you know, I don't think me and you ever got a chance to work together per se.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I would see you DJing or something like that. I would see.
You know why? Because you had too many security guards around you, and I couldn't like really get near you. So it's just, you know, that's the way it was. I know my position in the totem pole. I know where I'm at. You know, so
No,
that
but you got to remember, Gino, and this is a true fact. When you were doing your house thing and doing everything else, remember, I left that scene to do my Latin thing, and I went to the
yeah,
north side, and I was doing so everybody kind of, you know, and I talked about that how there was that different world that I decided to go with, but I never stopped being friends with everybody
yeah,
and doing house thing
yeah,
and stuff like that. I was, you know, Rich Morales, shouts out to him. He invited me to the first Malo reunion or the second Malo reunion. It was about 2 years ago, and he asked me to DJ. And Rich would tell you, I said no. I just want to go. I just want to see all the old school guys. I don't want to be DJing. And
yeah.
this year he asked me again, and then I said, yeah, I'll DJ for you. So he asked me. So this would be my first year basically doing, and I laugh about it because I'm like thinking, well, I don't. I DJ house music, but it wasn't like something I haven't did a whole house set per se.
Yeah. Well,
Since
you know, we all make mistakes, you know. I'm just kidding.
no, but you see, you know, I still DJ house music. I still play, you know, and honestly, what I really love is that a lot of people in the Latin market, they are house heads. That's
Yeah,
that's a fact. So
yeah,
to me, it's like and when I play it, trust me, I play Follow Me, Percolator, whatever, and they regress right back to when they were kids.
right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. That's
So,
right. You got to play that.
you know, or Cynthia, or you know, all the freestyle. Trust me, you know,
Let me let me write these down for my next set.
so it works out great. You know, I really
Uh-huh.
so I guess the final question I'm going to ask you. See, and it's already almost the hour is gone. Went quick, didn't it?
Oh, come on, man. We could do 4 hours. We don't need to do just one.
So what do you think? I mean, for your business, I know you're going to open up and go back to dentistry. So where do you think this is going to go as far as the COVID when it's all over? How do you think this industry all across the board is going to be? What do you think? What is your concept of what it might happen?
You know what? I'm an optimist. Here's what's going to happen is that as soon as they say that you can have gatherings, people are going to party like crazy. You know, obviously we still have to be careful, you know, but when we get the all clear, I think that DJs are going to be in high demand. Bars going to be in high demand. Definitely barbershops. You know,
Yeah.
you know, definitely that. You know, our dental office, we've had to reschedule hundreds of patients, and every day we get people that need dental work. That I mean, we are going to be bombarded with patients. But with the music, I think that it's going to be, you know, I've gotten a lot these live streams that I've done. I've had people ask me to do their quinceañeras and their weddings, you know, and I don't do those type of events, but I know that people are going to come out with this. with appreciating life a little bit better, appreciating the music, appreciating events to where you can actually touch someone or be near a person. I think that people are going to uh, um, recognize how much they really miss the human touch. And when it comes to music, that's going to be big. So all you DJs out there, behave, because people don't forget when you badmouth other people. So when this thing is over, people will remember the bad things you say. And when they want to get you, when they're looking for a DJ for a fundraiser for a church, and there's going to be 3,000 people in there, they're not going to want to hire you if you are bad mouthing other DJs. So this is a perfect opportunity for you to be in your best behavior, do your thing if you want to. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But my gut feeling is that when we get the all clear, 100% all clear, people are going to be looking for those DJs that were positive, that people that the DJs that played good, that they were clean, they were good people. That's what they're going to be looking for. If you're one of those guys that are bad mouthing other DJs and you're saying bad things, remember, this social media just grows, it's rampant, and people are going to remember that, and they're not going to want to be a part of your circle. So come on, guys, get it together. So because this is going to blow up in a good way, in a real good way. It's going to blow up. And I think that the music scene, it might take a little bit of time to get there, but when we get the all clear, places are going to be looking for DJs to play, and they're going to remember, you know what, that DJ did a live stream and he had hundreds of people DJing, or he only had 30 people DJing, but man, he was so good. He was so good. So promoters out there, this is the perfect opportunity for promoters to be scouting. You guys, DJs don't think about this, but there are scouts out there. You got these promoters that are very smart. They're putting concerts together in their head, and they're putting up DJ lineups in their head when they're looking on social media. And so this is a perfect opportunity to showcase your talent. Don't talk bad about other DJs, and showcase yourself in a good, clean way. Because when these promoters are getting their lineup, they're thinking, I want Prieto to be at my party. I want this guy. I want DJ Joe Schmo to be at my party because he's clean. There's nothing negative about him. He's a positive attitude, and he's a real good DJ. And I've seen him enough times on social media where this is the type of atmosphere that I want. And he's got a good following. So this is my advice to people that are out there, the DJs that are out there.
Well, and talking me from a promoter, you're right. And trust me, I'm planning for 2021 already. I am.
Send me the contract. I'm ready to go. And did I mention you're the best, Prieto? You're like, man, you're just amazing. So write that down.
No problem. So guys, that was the front room. Thank you very much. Gino Rockin Romo, the legend. There we go.
One last thing. You got to see my shirt. I got to show this. My wife and I designed this.
Really? Nice. Yeah. Nice. I see the tooth. Yes.
Okay. So my wife and I designed this. We thought, let me clarify, because, I do a lot of festivals. My plan is to give these t-shirts away when I'm at a festival, and I thought to myself, let's do something unique, because I don't know of any other DJ who's a dentist or a dentist who's a DJ than me. So if you see somebody wearing this, you're gonna know that it comes from Gino Rockin Romo. And so when I start doing festivals all over again, I'm gonna be tossing these out. All right. In the meantime, though, if you want to buy some, we do sell them. All right. Just go to my my Gino Rockin Romo Facebook page.
Okay. And speaking of, where's your dentist office at?
Oh, yes. So we have two offices. My first one, my original baby, it's on Archer Avenue. It's in the Brighton Park neighborhood. It's located at 4148 South Archer. It's right on the corner of Archer and Richmond, right near Sacramento. All right. And it's called Romo Dental. You cannot forget that. My second location, we just opened in August. We're on West Lawn. We're on 69th, on the corner of 69th and Pulaski. I want to do a big shout out to all my staff, my hygienists, my dental assistants, my front desk, all my doctors, Everybody, I mean, they really helped me run these two practices. All the patients that have been supporting us for years. We really try to be a staple in the community, and we really try to do things for the community. And that's one of the things that I like to do. I'm really big into philanthropy. I like to give back to the community, and my staff really plays a big role in that. A lot of times, we do dentistry for people that cannot afford it. On a more serious note, this DJ music and all this stuff is, it's fun to do. This is not what I plan to do with my life. My life was to do something good in the community. I had an opportunity to have a dental practice, in downtown Chicago. That's not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in the neighborhood. My dream was to have a dental practice in Little Village. It didn't pan out. There were way too many dentists in Little Village, and I could not get myself in there. So the next best thing was Brighton Park and West Lawn.
Didn't you have also, if I'm not mistaken, weren't you by my old neighborhood over by Oakley for a while? Did you have a dentist office there? Oh, hello. You're breaking up.
Work when I first got out of dental school. I did work for a couple other dentists. Yeah, before internet is okay. I don't know if you can hear me anymore. Oh, there we go. You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just saying that when I first got out of dental school, I was working for other dentists in different locations. I was at Back of the Yards. I was up in the north side as well. But now that I went on my own, and now I have 2 group practices. I'm over here in the south side.
All right. Well, it looks like that. Maybe the signal.
I might have lost you, or you might have lost.
No, I can hear you, but it's breaking up a little bit. But in that saying, that's the end of the show anyway. So let's we'll talk. We'll talk anyway. I thank you very much, Gino. I appreciate it very much. And
thank you, Angelo or Prieto, what I'm going to call you.
All right, guys. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.